Hello. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why there's a mass exodus from California, what the real estate market looks like over here, um, and the realities of the available options for most middle class Americans living in California. Specifically, in this video, it's just going to be Los Angeles. Maybe in other videos, I'll look at other places, but for this video, it's going to be Los Angeles. And I'm going to show all of you out there who don't live here how crazy it is. So, here we have a property that's $700,000, give or take a few thousand, or take a few thousand. And as you can see, in your state, if you live in Texas or Utah or Ohio or something, this might look like a crack house. And this might look like a house that costs $50,000 or $80,000 or $20,000. This house in your state might cost as much as a brand new Volkswagen Jetta. But here in Los Angeles, it costs as much as a brand new Lamborghini Aventador because it is $700,000. And let's just take a look. Let me move my face to the side a bit. Maybe over here. Nah. Let's just keep it here. Let me minimize it. Hopefully that's better. But as you can see, this is the interior. Usually when there's real estate being sold, there's nothing inside, but I assume that this one still has people living in it, and they have nowhere else to go, so they're just trying to sell it, and they'll move out once there's someone that purchases the home. But as you can see, there's no furnished, no like modern furnishing. All of this will probably be removed, so you're literally just paying for the building itself and the property. Very outdated, very old. So if you're buying this property, you're probably gonna want to invest another 100K or so in remodeling if you want a decent home. This is just sad. Look at this restroom. This is a restroom you would find at a cheap apartment somewhere or at like a 2-star hotel. Like one of those hotels people bring prostitutes in for like an hour. But this is not a dream home. This is not the American dream that a lot of people envision when they save their life savings, basically $1 million, and they try to buy a house. Look at this. This is just sad. But you get the point. Look at this is your yard, by the way. So when you step outside and you just bought your home, you invested all your money, and you walk outside to begin your day, this is what you see. And I'm sure you could like fix it up a little bit, but even if you fix the lawn and stuff, you're staring at the neighbor's other shitty property. And it's just so sad. And by the way, this is not a good neighborhood. This is let me look. This neighborhood is in Lincoln Heights. So I'm not too familiar with the crime rates here, but for sure there's crime here. It's probably not as bad as like Skid Row or Watts or Compton, but it's definitely not a very safe area. It's not one of those wealthier areas. You still have to be careful when you're walking around the street. You gotta be street smart still. In my opinion, my dream is that when I buy a house, I don't need to worry about what time is it safe to walk outside. If I sink in $1 million or $700,000 in a home, that home's gonna be. I'm gonna ensure that home is gonna be in a neighborhood where I could go running at 10 p.m. and not look behind my shoulder. Let me tell you, this is not a neighborhood where you could just walk outside. You can walk outside and be safe, but you have to take precaution. So that's one property example. Here's another one. This one is $1 million. Take 1,000 because it's 999,000. Not sure why they do that, but it's basically $1 million. Um, this is what area is this? This is not too far from the Dodger Stadium. This is between Silver Lake and Illusion Park, and not too far from Glendale either. Basically, Cypress Park, I would say. Um, but again, this is what you get for $1 million. In your state, if you live in outside of California and in the middle of the country somewhere, I'm sure $1 million gets you something that actually looks like it's worth $1 million. But here in California, $1 million, the word million is not the same here than it is for other places. 1 million here is like a $20 bill, whereas a million somewhere else is $100 bill. Um, you can't stretch out $1 million as much as other places. So for $1 million, you get this small little thing that, again, like I mentioned in the other property, um, might look like a crack house. But here, it's $1 million house. That's your garage. It's a single car garage, and I don't even think you could fit a big SUV in here, and that's pretty messed up for $1 million. The grass is all messed up. the The layout doesn't even make sense. I don't even know who thought of this. It's probably on a hill. All right, so you have like a decent size um, piece of patch of grass here. But yeah, this is gonna require a lot of work to make look decent. So you're gonna have to invest a lot of money in that. And a red flag in this property is they're not showing the interior, and that probably means the interior maybe looks worse than the last one. Um, so yeah, that is another property you would get for $1 million. Let's see a third example. This one's my favorite. This is 700,000. Like estimated mortgage is 4,000 a month. Think about that. Think about how much money you currently make right now, your monthly paycheck. Think about how of a how much budgeting and how much of a lifestyle change you would have to do if you had to sink in over $4,000 of your paycheck to this mortgage to buy something that looks like this for $700,000. And by the way, this is in Compton. You know, if you're not familiar, Compton is a pretty gang infested neighborhood. Now, there's some people that would say it improved over time and stuff, but let's be real. It's not gonna be a safe neighborhood. I'm sure it's not nearly as bad as it was in the 90s, but Compton's still Compton. You no one in Compton's gonna say, "Oh, it's 11 p.m. You want to go for a walk? Yeah, go for a walk." No, if you go for a walk, make sure you're not wearing certain hats. Make sure your shoes aren't red or blue. Make sure you're not wearing certain jerseys that you shouldn't be wearing. That's still Compton stuff, or LA stuff rather, but definitely don't do it in Compton. Um, so here you go. Let's look at some photos. This is what I don't even think you get all of this. I think one of the I think this is the building right here. Yeah. Wow. Look at this. 700,000. Look at these tires. They literally just have spare tires here. Is this a mechanic shop or what is this? Holy crap! This is the most ghetto shit I've ever seen. There's an old car. There's like a what do you call this? Like a roof, like a I don't know what you call it, but it doesn't even have the shade over it. It's just the bars. And there's an old car you probably have to tow away yourself. There's fucked up. Oh, this is the most terrible thing I've ever seen. I have no words right now for $700,000. So, if you're thinking of moving to California because you want to become the next Brad Pitt or something, I'm not going to say don't do it. Although, I'm not going to say you should. But I'm just going to say Um, you're gonna need to look to live somewhere, and before you think it's really easy, this is the real shit you're gonna have to face. This is reality. So most of the people that own houses that come here come from a good foundation. They have a lot of support. They're really smart or good at what they do, and there's a lot of luck. And that's why you see people living in big houses and they came here from somewhere else and made it big, and they have a family here and they live in mansions. But that's the exception. This is what you're dealing with. Um, is is insane. This is dirty. This is really dirty. No, there was no upkeep here. You're not even sure if the building's up to code. You're not sure who your neighbors are. You're not sure what to look out for in terms of gang territory, because that's a very real thing down here. So if you want to sink in $700,000, oh, here we have some interior. Well, you got some chips over here. This is really great stock footage of photos of this property. Um, yeah, this is what you're looking at. Oh, this is amazing. This is marketing genius right here. Alright, I'm just gonna stop. These people are living in poverty, and I'm sure they're just trying to get rid of their property. Um, but yeah, this is what you're dealing with. Oh shit, you got the Nike boxes. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna leave that there and not talk more about that. All right, next property, similar price. Uh, that being said, this one I'd rather buy this one than the last one, just because this one seems like a little bit cleaner, a little bit more organized. But even then, um, compared to other places out there in the U.S., this is just sad for almost $800,000. This is ugly. This is disgusting. This is not the life anyone wants to live, sinking in this much money. Now, I'm going to explain what I think is going on. I'm not a real estate expert. Now, see, the outside looks nice, but these photos are a little bit manipulative. And the reason why is they hire professional photographers to take these photos, edit them, make sure the lighting's really good. They spray down the house and make it the most appealing looking thing. But when you go in person, you're going to realize it doesn't look that great. So this is the professionally took photo, right? But here, to give a more realistic perspective, is that it? Yeah, like look at this. This is more realistic. You get a better sense of what you're getting yourself into. Um, so that is one. All right, the last one is this one. this this looks like a shack. In a lot of other places this would be like a tool shed. This is like a thing someone built in their backyard to store the shovels, um, some dirt, maybe a tractor or something. I don't know. Tools, supplies, um, mops. But here it's a full on house selling for $750,000. Yeah, and this is the only photo. It seems like the photographer wasn't even allowed inside, but they just took it. So they're probably squatting in there. Who knows? Um, let's see the street view. Yeah. Oh fuck. All right. So I should have done the street view for the other properties, but yeah. Look. All right. So you spend that much money on this property, right? Oh, look at this dude. He's like, I'm gonna call the homies if this person doesn't move away. Um, but yeah, first thing you see is graffiti. And maybe in your state, graffiti is just kids spraying stuff just to mess around. But here it's gang territory. So I'm not a gang expert. I have better stuff to do than to study gangs. But this is all territory, gang claim, and gang language. So it's not art. It's just claiming territory from various gangs. So that will be the first thing you look at when you step outside your $750,000 home. There's graffiti on the trees, so screw nature. You're just gonna get graffiti everywhere. There's busted old cars everywhere. There's dirt. Like, I don't know, but I don't want to live in a neighborhood where the streets look like this. Uh, and let's drive down the street. Oh, okay. Uh, oh, look at this. More neighborhood greeting messages. Go down the street a little bit. You know what? It's safe to jog at night. I just sunk in nearly $800,000 on a home, so I would assume it's safe to walk around. But yeah, let's go here. All right, you got this sketchy alley. Oh, you got this, you know, abandoned looking building parking lot that you definitely don't want to be at night. Yeah. Yeah. Is this the place you want to raise your family? I don't think it is. All right, anyways. Um that was just an overview to give you guys insight about the real estate in Los Angeles. Um Obviously there are good property out here, but it's going to be in the millions upon millions. Um there are nice suburbs, but it's going to be away from the city. It's going to be expensive. You have to know where to look. But for these properties, my opinion is that um, the the what do you call it? The real estate companies that own these properties, they'll buy them out and they'll put them up for rent for families to live in, and then they'll just collect rent. So I don't think the people that actually own these places are living in them. I think they're buying them out and they're renting them out. So, and a lot of these houses are, there's people live in them. They're in poverty. So there could be multiple families living in these houses, and they're splitting the rent among like 10 different people. It's not like a family of three or four. You could have 7 people in each of these houses, and they're all splitting the rent, and that's just poverty in LA. So most people aren't raising families like this. Well, I mean, they are raising families, but they're not. It's not the typical family situation that you think about in the movies. There's multiple families crammed up in one place. There's arguments. There's issues. There's abuse. There's dark stuff going on, and they're just all splitting the rent. So that's the reality of it. That's why things look like the way they do. And that's just the deeper side of LA real estate. So you want to come here and be the next Brad Pitt, um, and you're willing to live in a house like this, go for it. Personally, I think if you live in a state where you could get a house for cheaper, try to find something bright about your situation and make the best of it. As for me, I was born and raised here, stuck here because of family and responsibilities. But luckily, I don't live in a neighborhood that looks like this. But it's still not the best ideal situation. But anyways, that's the video for today. I hope that was insightful for all of you that never came to LA or don't really know how it is. But yeah.